Good afternoon sa aking mga viewers, sa aking mga subscribers. Kamusta na po ba kayo? Sana nag-enjoy kayo ng ating celebration ng Christmas Day. At I know that you are with your family, friends, loved ones, at alam kong enjoy na enjoy kayo. Ngayon naman ay sasalubungin natin ang New Year. Sana po ay kayo ay mag-keep safe and stay healthy para maganda ang pagsalubong natin ng bagong taon. Okay, so ngayon magdi-discuss tayo ng panibagong topic natin dito sa ating Kaalamang Legal. Pero ngayon ay medyo iba. Nakafocus tayo sa ating mga foreigner friends. So for this purpose, for this video, I will be speaking in Taglish, para naman po maintindihan ng ating mga kababayang Pilipinong nasa abroad and their foreigner friends, spouse, o kung relatives, at sapagkat ito ay patungkol sa kanilang mga sitwasyon o kanilang entitlement. So, ano po ba magiging topic natin ngayon? Iyan ay tungkol sa can foreigners buy land in the Philippines? Yes, we will try to answer that question of whether or not foreigners are allowed to buy land in the Philippines. At present, the Constitution does not allow foreigners to buy parcels of land in the Philippines. It is a prohibition. However, there are certain exceptions. There is still the possibility that foreigners can own land in the Philippines. First, if they are married to a Filipino spouse and this Filipino spouse has a parcel of land or parcels of land in the Philippines, it is registered in her name or his name. And then, of course, the foreigner is also included in the title or registered in the title. An unfortunate incident happened. The Filipino spouse dies. The foreigner is entitled to inherit the parcel of land from his wife or her husband. This is allowed under our laws. This is the so-called intestate succession. As long as there is no will left by the Filipino spouse, this kind of situation or the transaction and succession is allowed under our laws. There's a ruling by the Supreme Court making inheritance of a foreigner through a will has been held to be invalid or unconstitutional because accordingly this is some kind of a circumvention of the law. There can be a circumvention of the law in cases where a will is left by a Filipino giving certain parcels of land to a foreigner because the Supreme Court could have thought that this can be arranged or it can be fixed. So they have decided that inheritance by a foreigner through a will is invalid. Okay, so it's only through intestate succession. When there is no will left by the Filipino spouse, then the foreigner can inherit. So that's one way for a foreigner to own a parcel of land in the Philippines. But he cannot, again, buy a parcel of land in the Philippines. Only through intestate succession or through inheritance without a will from his wife or her husband. Okay, another one is if there are foreigners as well as Filipino investors who agreed to form a corporation, 60% of which is owned by Filipino. The 60% of the authorized capital stock is owned by Filipinos and 40% owned by foreigners. This corporation, even though there's 40% foreigners, can buy parcels of land in the Philippines. Allowed po yun. This is allowed under our laws. So, in a way, foreigners can own parcels of land in the Philippines through a corporation, as long as 60% of the authorized capital stock is owned by Filipinos and 40% is owned by foreigners. Okay, so that's true. Foreigners cannot own or cannot buy parcels of land, but they can own it through these exceptions that I have mentioned. In addition to that, foreigners can own condominium units in the Philippines. They can buy condominium units, and they will be issued a condominium certificate of title in which registered their names will be registered in the same document, this condominium certificate of title. That is a proof that a foreigner owns a particular condominium unit in a location, in a particular place. So, in short, foreigners are allowed to buy and own condominium units in the Philippines. Second, foreigners are likewise allowed to buy houses, beach houses, and residential houses in the Philippines. Perhaps they may be worried, our foreigner friends may be worried, I do not own the land, but how can I be sure that whenever I let my Filipino spouse build a house thereon in that particular land, and that house will be under my name? You see, under the laws on local government unit, we have the local government code. In every municipality, city, or provincial government, there is the so-called registration and assessment of properties within a particular territory. There is the so-called tax declaration for real property tax, which is paid every year. A tax declaration for the real property, for the land. And there is also a tax declaration for the improvement, or termed as, we call that improvement, but those are houses or buildings built on the land. So, if your Filipino spouse owns the land, the tax declaration can be registered in her name. But if you finance the construction of the building, then you may say that you own the house. And through the application to register the improvement in the assessor's office, the tax declaration will be registered in your name. And that will be the proof that the foreigner owns the house that was built on that particular land. So, you will have a proof or an evidence of ownership that the house belongs to you. Okay, so these are, foreigners may not own parcels of land in the Philippines, but they can own condominium units, and they can own beach houses, residential houses in the Philippines. I hope that in this short video, our foreigner friends at least have the idea of their entitlement of with regard to properties here in the Philippines. Why don't you try going here in the Philippines, enjoy our beautiful tourist spots, enjoy our loving people, and invest a little. And then maybe sooner or later our laws will allow a certain limit for foreigners to own parcels of land in the Philippines. Sa mga kabayan ko, sa mga kababayan ko dyan sa abroad, sana po ay nagustuhan nyo ang video namin ito at sana po dito naman yung mga kababayan ko rito sa aking mga subscribers at viewers na patuloy na nanonood ng aking mga vlogs. Huwag po kayong magsasawa at sana po magkita-kita tayong muli sa aking susunod na vlog. Thank you very much and good afternoon ulit.